everybody, welcome back. So today we are in on a Friday night and woohoo! This is usually how I spend my Friday nights. It's actually quite refreshing to spend Friday nights like this, just chilling, taking stock of how the week went, getting ahead on the things that I want to do, like filming a video. Hopefully I can film two tonight. We'll see how we go. And yeah, so first off, I want to say thank you so much everyone who's been leaving me really nice comments in my comment section in my various videos. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me for having all the support that you are giving. And yeah, I hope to make even better videos with great content regarding finances and investing in the time to come. It's been interesting uploading once a week. I am not gonna lie, it's been quite a struggle for me at least. And yeah, thank you for putting up with all my funny editing or interesting choice of filming. My emphasis is more on the content, but I will also do my best to improve on my filming, videography skills. So along the way, we will all improve. Today, what I wanted to talk about was, I guess, what I got up to just now. I just want to update you guys. I watched a video by this YouTube channel called Aussie Wealth Creation, and he had a very interesting video talking about how he has this hack for personal finance of viewing ourselves as a company. And when we do this, we really get to analyze how we have been doing financially. So I thought it would be very interesting and I thought I would give it a go. So I'm just going to explain how I went about it. Since I remember to say this, if you haven't already, click subscribe and the like button, hit the notification so that you will know when I upload a new video. So stay tuned and thank you so much for all the support. The first thing I did was I took stock of my cash and cash equivalents. So when we are looking at analyzing a company, there are so many ways to do it, but what a lot of people like to look at as well, aside from, revenue, net profit, operating cash flow, what we like to look at is how much cash the company is actually sitting on. It's important for a company to hold cash because sometimes there are downturns in the economy. Sometimes your sales drops significantly and your net profit effectively will drop as well. So if you have debts or interest payments that you need to meet, and if you're not earning enough revenue, you aren't able to meet those payments, and that can be quite detrimental to the company. What happens is we tend to look at whether the company can afford those payments through using their cash. The equivalent of that is, as people, human beings, we also can view ourselves the same way. We're gonna need cash to tide us over in tough times. Let's say emergencies or things that come out of the blue, and we have emergency funds that we can dig into in order to survive and move forward. So that's the first thing I did. I took stock of all the liquid cash. I'm talking about here whether it's in a savings account or whether it's in term or fixed deposits or money market accounts. I came up with the figure that I actually hold 37% of my total wealth in cash. And yeah, I guess I'm not that surprised. I kind of knew I had a healthy amount of money sitting in cash. And part of it is my emergency fund and part of it is my savings for miscellaneous things. And a lot of it is also my savings that will go to my investments. For those of you who don't know, I am a big fan of stock investments. So the money that I have in cash, a portion of it is actually waiting to be inserted into stocks. So before I manage to pick the right stocks for me, or whether they have hit the price, or if they have not hit the price that I'm willing to buy them at, they are sitting in cash in my CDS account, which is where I buy stocks from. So yeah, I guess 37% is pretty healthy. I'm pretty happy with that. And then we move on to the next criteria. The second thing that he was looking at in terms of viewing ourselves as a company is to look at our cash flow, and specifically looking at our positive cash flow. If we take our income minus our expenses, we're gonna get the money that we have left over. And what's left over, hopefully, is positive. That represents our cash flow, meaning the money that we actually have left at the end of the day to do things with, which is investing or to save it in an emergency fund. And yeah, I guess that is what I can think of right now. My cash flow is definitely positive. I talked about this in a previous video before. If you haven't seen it, I talk about how I save money, and I do it through the bucket system. So I'll link it in the cards up there somewhere. And I talk about how I spend 28% of my income. And I guess it's a little bit more now since I have a debt detonator account. So that would be 34% of my income. And I save and invest the rest. So I have positive cash flow as of now, and I hope to keep it that way for as long as possible. If a company has negative cash flow, it cannot last for very long because they don't have money to turn over. We'll be discussing this in future videos, talking about all these financial terms like revenue, net profit, dividends, all these things I will explain slowly as we move forward in our videos and our content. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, always aim for positive cash flow. We can do two things. Either we can increase our income, which is a really, really good idea to do that, and we can decrease our expenses. And what you will find when you actually look at your expenses, there are a lot of things that can be decreased. There are a lot of things that we spend our money on that may not necessarily be what we actually want to spend our money on, if you get my drift. The third thing that I had a look at in terms of viewing myself as a company is I had a look at how I reinvested my earnings. So in terms of earnings of my income or earnings from my dividends, I actually reinvested possibly the most I can at the moment back into my stocks. So talking about my investments, I can break it down very quickly. Most of my money is in my stock portfolio, and after that would be my EPF money. I have this investment that I did with some colleagues of mine. We managed to invest in a villa, but that's a story for another time. I also have money in PRS and Stashaway and funding societies. So don't get too excited, there's not that much money in funding societies. I stopped reinvesting money into funding societies because I want to see how it goes. I'm still not so sure about, I talked about all the cons, and with default rates going up, I wouldn't be putting more money in, and yeah, I'm a bit more on the cautious side at the moment with funding societies. With Stashaway, I'm doing monthly auto debits for investing into Stashaway, so that's pretty good. I aim to invest about 3,000 a year there, and with PRS, I think I will also invest 3,000 a year. So those are all my investments at the moment, and I can say that I'm pretty happy with all of them. They are building, and the dividends that I receive from my stocks, I actually don't spend it. I reinvest all my dividends that I receive. I know it's so tempting to spend it, but yeah, I think it's actually more productive to reinvest those earnings that I gain from my stocks, and yeah, to help my portfolio grow bigger and bigger so I can live off it in the future. Very happy with my reinvestments of earnings. Definitely I can improve in terms of my portfolio performance, and I guess I can re-optimize how I invest in Stashaway. Maybe do it quarterly instead of monthly so I can save on the transaction costs. There are pros and cons, of course, for doing that, but I'll let you know how it goes. Finally, in the end, I did like a simple income statement of all my assets and liabilities, and It was pretty simple, to be honest, because I have a lot of assets in my investments and I have practically no liabilities thanks to mom and dad who let me live off them in their house and who let me borrow their car. So in that sense, very blessed to just be on the asset side at the moment, but I know that in the future this will not be the case. I just need to prepare to manage my debt well. And that was the component that I didn't have to assess regarding debt. So I know that it's not the case for a lot of people out there. Everyone has some form of debt, whether it is student loans or some credit card debt, personal loan debt, or good debt in terms of you bought a property for investment purposes or for living purposes. So yeah, I guess it's all about managing. Sorry, I cannot comment that much in this area at the moment. But if you are experienced or if you are experiencing something to do with managing your debt and perhaps like how you're feeling about it and how you're killing it or how it's killing you, you can also talk about it in the comment section down below because I'll be interested to hear about your journeys as well. I guess it was a very interesting activity to do. Do try it out, and I hope it is a very enlightening experience for you because it was for me. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Good luck. Bye!